Hello again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to take you to the famous Favela Rocinha. Yeah, it's supposed to, in Portuguese it's more like Rocinha, but I cannot say it like that. But anyway, I am going to tell you a brief history of the favela as well as how they started and how life in there is like. So stay tuned. Travel with me, travel with Phil. Hello. If you see me rushing, which I am, it's because I am going to meet my group tour. Yes, I know I was complaining about group tours based on the last one I took, but they're not always bad. As I said, you get to meet cool people, and in my case last time I managed to meet some people. We went out eating together in the evening, exchanging ideas and conversations, and it was generally a good time that you don't normally get when you travel alone, right? So today though I have to join a group tour because I want to go visit the infamous favelas of Rio, and for such an activity I actually have to join a group tour. There's no other way I can tour those places on my own. And I'm actually touring with the same guy we were with, because that guide was quite good actually. So let's go and see. So group tours normally start at a common location, or they pick you up at your place. So in this case I picked this particular tour because it starts at the Cabana Palace, which is 5 minutes walking distance from where I'm staying at. So it's very convenient for me because they'll pick me up here and drop me up here, so walking distance, as opposed to some others that are actually starting at the favela itself, which means I would have had to find my own way there and my own way back. So such are the things to consider. I'm early today, so I'm just kind of waiting for them. They usually would have like an umbrella or a flag that to indicate that it's them you should be waiting for, but I don't think they're here yet. I did text them. Yeah, at least we have cell phones, so I'm just waiting. Good thing I know is that I'm not late. So yeah, let's go and see the favelas and see if they are everything they are supposed to be in the movies, right? Aren't you curious? I know I am. So we got on the van on our way to the favela, very excited, and the guide introduced himself, telling us a few facts, and also he said this to keep us comfortable.
Went straight over there, don't want everybody to know me there. How is it safe? It's very safe, extremely safe, don't worry.
Do you believe him? After driving through the neighborhoods of Copacabana, Ipanema and Leblon, here we were. The one thing you notice as you drive towards the favela are the big mansions and nice houses and the beautiful American school right outside the favela. And the moment you step into the favela, literally 1 meter difference, you'll notice the contrast, the rich versus the poor. The very first thing we do when we get there is that our guides take us to a platform where we can actually see the contrast I was telling you about. You can see those houses and even one with a swimming pool versus the houses on the hill in the favela. This here is one of the entrances to the favela. Most favelas will only have 1 to 2 or 3 entrances, and that's how they are able to control movement in and out of the favela. Favela Rocinha started when immigrants from other parts of Brazil would come to work for richer people in Rio de Janeiro, but they didn't have a place to live, so they would go and build houses on top of the hill. So a mother would build a house down there. When their daughter grows up, they would raise up one floor, and so on and so forth until the favela grew to what it is. There are over 1,000 favelas in Rio de Janeiro alone. Only 3 of the favelas can be visited on a tour like this one. The other common phenomena here in Rocinha is the existence of these unauthorized connections that stem right from the pole directly to the houses, and because of that it is haphazardly done and it is prone to breakage, and even in summers when it's really hot they burn down. When it's raining, don't touch the poles because you're likely to be electrocuted. Right at the entrance you find the mayor's office, and we were told that the mayor sets up shop when it's close to elections, promises a lot of things, cleans up the streets, does all that, but after he is elected he goes missing. Isn't that familiar to you? The buses don't get to the top of the hills, so if you live up there you have to use a motor taxi.
With which app can I order a motor taxi?
Sorry?
Which app can I order a motor taxi?
No, you don't need app. You just... you don't need app.
I was honestly surprised at how relatively clean the favelas were, but we were told that the city council comes to collect trash 3 times a day. And if you see the trash, then you know it is a lot, because if they're collecting it 3 times a day and it's still like this, then that means there is a lot of trash produced here. If there was no collection, this place would probably not be walkable. So we're inside the favela, which is very interesting. But I must say, based on the movies I've watched and the reputation, when I left the van, I felt some sort of knots in my stomach. But our guide assures us that it's safe here. Apparently, you're safer here as long as you're not a thief. Alright, peace. So, it's good to know. Let me explain that a little bit to you. So favelas are governed by either of the 3 factions that exist here, and by factions you can also call them gangs, and because of that they have really strict gang laws, like people act as jury, judge and executioner, so their laws are really followed, because if you're a thief they make an example out of you. If you have crimes against women, they make an example out of you. So people tend to actually follow these rules, and that's why we were told that we were safer inside the favela than outside of the other parts of Rio, because inside the favela crime is not allowed. If somebody were to steal from you, then they're probably never to be seen again. So yeah, they're probably not gonna steal from you. Favela Rocinha is one of the 3 favelas that you can actually visit. It is controlled by the Red Commando, and it is easier for foreigners to visit than Brazilians, because they will be suspected to be either rival gang members or police informants. You can't also just walk into the favela on your own. You have to be accompanied by a known resident or on a group tour like this one. So this kind of cabling, the spaghetti cabling, is very common here in the favela, and you won't see it anywhere else in Rio. It's because most of them are illegal connections, and during summertime when it's like really hot, they burn. In fact, we saw some wires that are burning because of the heat, the humidity, and also the overuse. Yes, okay. And now we go to the next place. The name Rocinha comes from the word farm, because farmers from in the 1930s are the ones who started settling here. Then around 1970s, that's when the growth spurt started, because there were a lot of projects that were starting. So a lot of northeastern immigrants moved into the city for those jobs but didn't have anywhere to live, so they expanded into the favela. Thank you. Oh, that was slippery. Since it had been raining in Rio, we had to be very careful while walking because it was steep and slippery and you risked falling. Most people often live in the favela because it is cheaper than any other place in Rio, and also the amenities, because of the unauthorized cabling, then it will be free, and when you go other places you have to pay. So that goes for internet, cable TV and electricity, and so that's why most people prefer to stay here. If you do get an income and you can afford living out, you're free to live. Unfortunately, due to the nature of the houses, when there is adverse weather, some houses end up collapsing, and it is unfortunate because last month one of those houses collapsed and one person died inside. In some parts of the favela, you're not allowed to take pictures or videos, and so we walked for about 10 minutes without taking any pictures or videos unless you didn't want to live with your life. Some realities of the favela are, because most of the people who live here are low-income earners, they do not have access to good healthcare. Also, there are about 200,000 residents in this favela and only 4 schools, so kids also don't access good education. At the same time, they love football, but there aren't many places to play football. So even here there was a sign that you should not play football, but there is no other place that the kids can play, so they play from there. Beyond all that, life in the favela moves on as usual. There are supermarkets and grocery shops, there are clothing shops and whatever else that you may need to live. There is even a huge sense of community here. Our guide was going around saying hi to everyone, and people were really friendly. They did not stare at us in a weird way. It was really nice to see this side of the favela. They have nice restaurants as well and anything else that you might think. So as much as there is a dark side to the favelas, there is also a very beautiful side which comes with the community. After walking a little, you actually realize it's a very normal place, and minus the dark zones, it's actually pretty cool to see how these other people live on this other side. And the famous favelas. Just look at this cabling. Huh? And we just passed another no picture zone, and my stomach is in not seeing all those big guns and drugs. So the entrance of the favela is back there, and we started all the way from the other side at the top. So it's really amazing. If you're in Rio, make sure you take this tour. It's a bit scary at first when they tell you not to take pictures, but otherwise you get used to it. And yeah, that was it. It was so nice. I loved it. So make sure you do it. There is a huge police versus gangs rivalry, so the police don't really go inside the favelas, but they stand guard on the outside. There was a car that was there the entire time, a police car. After waiting for a van for quite a while, we got in and we started going. Had some trouble, so it took a little longer. It was raining in Rio, so it was nice driving or being driven in the rain. And that was the end of the favela tour. I hope you really enjoyed and learned a lot about the favelas in Rio. And if you have any questions or anything to add or correct, leave me some comments down below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it because I surely did. And see you on the next one. This was nice. I said that already, right? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Join me next time as I take you on a tour of downtown Rio. I will tell you how Rio was formed and how it's grown over the years, and give you some interesting facts about the Portuguese when they invaded Rio and the inhabitants they found already there. So subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll be the first one to know when it comes out. Alright, bye.